minute. Who are you?
Hello, so my name is Sydney Rain, and today I thought I'd actually introduce myself. And I'm actually at a park today, which is literally one of my favorite places to be. So I thought it'd be very fitting to just kind of like talk about myself and yeah, give you some information that you wouldn't typically get just from like watching my videos. And yeah. But I guess to start off, on this particular channel, this YouTube channel, I like to talk about herbalism, holistic health, lot care, and then also spiritual wellness. And I want to say those are the main topics because they're all things that are very personal and prevalent in my own personal life. And so I feel like part of me wanted to start making videos specifically about like holistic health and spiritual wellness because when I was growing up and when I was figuring all these things out, I didn't have a lot of resources to go to and people to find on YouTube. So I feel like in part this is like documenting my journey and what I learn and what I discover, but also being able to provide information for people out here who are maybe curious about the same things that I am, or simply just want to learn more. And honestly, I actually like never saw myself as someone who would be on social media at the degree that I am and also be making videos and posting them. Like I had very severe anxiety growing up and pretty much like the entirety of my younger adulthood. I guess I'm still young, but like up to this point, and making videos and putting my face on the screen and talking to a camera is something that I literally never saw myself doing and actually enjoying. And at the age of making this, I am 23. My birthday's in January, it's coming up, and that makes me a Capricorn. So I'm actually a Capricorn sun, Sagittarius moon, and a Virgo rising, which is probably why every single video will probably kind of feel like a lecture and why you should probably take notes. So honestly, like the idea of content creation and being a digital creator is something that's like very much new to me. And it actually started, I want to say 2021. I think it started 2021, and that was through TikTok. I think around like 2019, 2020, I got really into holistic health and herbalism, and I started doing a lot of self-educating, reading. I took courses just to learn more about herbalism and how to integrate that into my life. And because of that, I kind of felt like I had all this information that I collected, but no one to really share it with. Like I had my friends and family and people in my life, but like obviously that wasn't the same interest and passion that people around me just automatically had. So I kind of wanted to start a TikTok where I would talk about it and hopefully find like an audience and I guess like a tribe that was also interested in the same things that I'm interested in. So that's honestly how it started. And I actually had a couple TikToks because the first TikTok that I made, I literally like refused to post on. Like I had such a fear about talking about the things that I was interested in and feeling unqualified and feeling like I didn't have enough information to be that person. So I would kind of like half post videos about things that had nothing to do with the actual topic of herbalism and holistic health and just kind of like edge around it. And I feel like how I grew on TikTok is like a story for another time, but just like reflecting back on my first account versus the account that I have now that's doing really well and is super successful, it's just like a completely different mindset and just like all around 180 change. But yeah, moving on. So right now I currently live somewhere along the West Coast. I don't really feel comfortable just kind of like blurting out where I live, but I am on the West Coast and I have an apartment with my partner and I have 2 kittens. And right now I actually work at Trader Joe's. I work there part-time. And then I make content creation with the second half, I guess, of my workload. And I kind of consider this my other part-time job. And honestly, the goal would be to do content creation and have a YouTube channel and my TikTok be my full-time position and I just become a full-time content creator. But I also own a business. So I actually have an online apothecary. It's called Rain and Soul. And through my apothecary, I sell a lot of herbs or herbal blends or just holistic wellness products to help with womb health, reproductive health, and just overall sort of like empower that divine feminine energy that I believe we all hold. So yeah, I would honestly say it's definitely been a challenge to me to try and maintain everything that I have planned for myself and everything that I want to do, and actually keep the discipline and have faith that I am capable of doing all the things that I want to do. And so starting a YouTube was honestly like a big step towards me actually taking initiative to see my goals and see my intentions through. Because life is hard. Like, I'm also the eldest daughter, so I feel like my entire life I have always held the pressure of being the responsible one in the family and the one that has to create the path of success and be the good example for my younger sister, who honestly isn't that much younger than me. So like, and she's actually doing fine. So I mean, it's not like she needs me, to be honest, but I feel like because of that, I've always held like this high performing pressure that I need to maintain. And honestly, I feel like deciding that I wanted to create content and kind of creating my own path and wanting to study herbalism and create an herbal apothecary was my way of honestly like releasing that pressure, because I think if I was truly following the path that my parents planned for me, I would be in a laboratory right now. I went to school at San Francisco State for microbiology, so that's what I have my bachelor's in. And I think if I was on the straight and narrow, I would literally have gotten a lab position, been a lab tech, and tried to move my way up a company, which in no way is a bad life path. And honestly, I would probably be making some good money if that was what I wanted to do. But I feel like because that was like the initial path that I chose and not the one that I'm currently on, I feel a lot of pressure to explain away why I make the decisions that I do. But yeah, honestly, I feel like this holistic wellness herbalist lifestyle honestly came to me in such a random way. Like, I can't honestly even like pinpoint when in my life I decided that I was interested in this. Like, I understand my background in microbiology and the sciences, and I minored in race and resistance and ethnic studies. So I think I understand why other aspects of myself are so prevalent. But when it comes to herbalism and root work and healing and spirituality, I honestly don't know where it truly came from. But what I do know is the amount of growth that has come from it is mind-blowing to me, and that's why I continue to follow this path and continue to trust that there's a reason why I'm interested in these things, and there's a reason why I felt compelled to make YouTube videos and TikToks and become this person. And so I'm honestly just trying to go with the flow and follow that, which is honestly so hard being a Capricorn with a Virgo rising. I feel like my Sagittarius moon is what's truly like heading this into the unknown with determination and fire attitude, because the Virgo and the Capricorn in me honestly just wants like a well-paying government job. But like, that would be so soul dampening to me, and that's why I continue to enjoy making content and talking about these things and diving deeper into myself and introspection, because it's been so freeing in a way that I've never experienced before when I was in class, when I was looking for jobs about microbiology, or just in general, like the health world. And honestly, in my business, my apothecary, that's like a child to me. Like, I hold so many aspirations and passions in its creation and the vision that I have for it that it's almost hard for me to talk about it sometimes, because it's just like striking a very personal nerve for me. And so yeah, that's like, I want to feel like that for everything that I do and everything that I experience in life. I want it to be personal. I want it to be something that I feel that I'm truly aligned with, that I love and I have so much emotion towards. And as you can see right now, I'm at a park. I spend a lot of time at the park. This is where I meditate in the morning, where I go if I feel overwhelmed with life, and just in general, just to ground myself. Being out in nature is something I'm very intentional with, and I really try to incorporate that into the systems that I create myself and the lifestyle that I have. Being at the park, just like local parks, is something that I try to do on a daily basis. And then when I can, I try to hike and get out into like real nature and experience that aspect of life. And I honestly feel so fortunate too to live in an area and a state where there's so much diversity when it comes to nature. Like, I'm an hour away from the beach, less than an hour away from beautiful national parks, and my hometown where I grew up was in between Yosemite and the Sequoia National Forest. And so that's one thing I'm honestly really grateful for and that I think about a lot. And it's just like my access to nature and these natural spaces where I feel the most healing has always been easy for me. And it's always been something within arm's reach. So I'm completely changing the subject now. My favorite color has always been blue, but I feel like every single year I kind of like choose a color for myself that just kind of like embodies my energy for that year. And I think this year, I remember in the beginning of January, I think I kind of felt like my energy was pulling more towards like orange and magenta. So as much as blue will forever be my like OG favorite color, I've really been pulled to like magenta, pinks, and oranges. But it's kind of funny because I feel like everybody that comes across me, they're always like, oh, your aura is green, like it's green, la 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 la. And maybe it is green because I do wear a lot of green, and that's definitely something that you see a lot in my surroundings and just where I choose to keep myself. But whenever I envision my aura and myself, it's always like magenta coming out here, and then it's kind of like magenta moving on to like orange and maybe like yellow, and honestly green's kind of in there, but it's like mainly this dominant, very beautiful fusion of like orange and magenta. So yeah, right now that is currently my favorite color. In my free time, honestly, when I'm not like thinking about content I could be making or just like spending time at the park, I really like to get creative when it comes to like drawing, painting, or just doing anything artistic. And I find that kind of funny because when I was younger, I have a very distinct memory of me wanting to be an artist when I grew up, and literally applying to like art institutes at the age of 12 to try and get into them, and that really being my thing, and my parents being like, are you sure you want to be an artist? Because like they don't make that much. Like, is there anything else you're interested in? And that was kind of like the birth of science for me. I remember I got a microscope from my uncle, and I'd literally go into the fridge and like cut up little pieces of things and do like science experiments. And like, don't get me wrong, because I feel like all of the things that I've wanted to do in the past, present, and in the future have always been things that really like digged into my curiosity and my creativity, because my creative energy is something that I hold very closely to my heart. I feel like my creative energy is what makes me me, and it's kind of like manifested itself in many different aspects of my life and in many different ways. And honestly, I feel like that's why me going into content creation, as much as it is like a shock to me, also kind of isn't a shock, because it's just like another way for me to express my creativity. And it just happened to be a way that I wasn't familiar with, but have just sort of like embraced. But yeah, what else would be important to know about me? I'm not a vegan. I think that's something that a lot of people assume when they see my lifestyle, I guess, on social media, which is fully curated, by the way. Like, I'm a real person and do real person things, but I don't know, I kind of see my social media as like a visual diary, and I am very aesthetic, so everything that I have will be aesthetic. Not that I consider myself fake or I'm putting up a persona, but simply I just like aesthetic things, and so my curation of my social media will be more aesthetic than it is like the nitty-gritty. But yeah, I'm not a vegan. I am, however, though, more of like plant-based vegetarian than anything else. I was vegan a couple years ago, and that was just like not sustainable for me at all. I found myself literally not eating when I didn't have anything vegan, and I just created a lot of unhealthy habits and relationships with food when I was trying to be vegan. So what I do right now, honestly, is I guess I eat whatever I want, but I try to be intentional with whatever it is that I'm eating. So if I feel like my body is telling me, oh, you should lay off meats and dairy and cheese for a while, and just go more to like a plant-based diet and just kind of like reset yourself, I'll do that. And I feel no guilt. I'm not one for labels, so I don't say I'm vegan. If I feel like I should cut out meat and dairy for a little bit, I will. And when I feel like, I'm really craving some chicken, I'm really craving some salmon, like I will go in and I'll get that salmon without the guilt. Because that was another thing. I feel like when I was vegan, I was always so guilty and just like forcing myself to pretend that doing veganism and being vegan was like the thing that I needed when I literally wasn't getting the nutrition that I needed. So yeah, I kind of have like this mixed diet that can't be categorized, but I feel like it's very natural for just like what I need and what I feel I should be doing to best support my body. I also don't exercise that much. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I feel like people have always assumed that I do exercise as well. And unfortunately for them, it's truly just genetics. I've been trying to exercise more and be more active, but in ways that I feel like help my mental health. So like doing yoga, doing like, maybe like I've always done at-home Pilates whenever I really felt like my body was feeling sluggish and I really just needed to move, but just being a little more intentional with the practices that I do. And I also got a pole. So right now my pool is literally unstable. Like if I spun on it, I'd probably fall to the ground and break my floor and my ceiling. But I got a pole, and that's another kind of like decision I made to honor myself. And I use the word honor because having a pole and learning how to pole dance is something that challenged me in the sense that I've never felt very connected with my body, and especially my like sexual and sensual energy. So getting that pole and deciding that I was going to do something for myself and my feminine energy was a big step for me. And I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs about who I am and my essence, and I guess I still do, but I've been working very hard to release those things. And I believe getting a pole and incorporating that into my movement has been a way for me to challenge myself and continue to push myself to grow. And I want to say ever since spiritual wellness became a way for me to like self-regulate myself, moving with intention has been something I have been very adamant about and very hard set in. And nobody's perfect, so I'm not saying that I'm 100% successful at this or even like the most consistent at times, but it has been something that I've found a lot of security in and a lot of trust in when it comes to understanding how I move, what makes me me, and what's best for me. I think if I were to envision what I want this channel to become, I would say that I would want it to become a safe space, both for myself and for anyone who feels pulled to my content and the things that I'm saying and what I'm trying to do. Like I said before, I think the three main kind of like houses on this channel are going to be holistic wellness, my locks, and I guess with that, my lifestyle, and spiritual wellness. One thing that I do know is I really want this account to feel expansive and for me to be able to post what I want to post and grow in the ways that I want to grow and not feel like I'm boxed into any particular theme or persona. So yeah, if anything changes, I will definitely take the initiative to vocalize that, but as of right now, that's it. I'm honestly not the best at talking about myself, so yeah, this is a little uncomfortable for me. I honestly feel like I didn't address half of the questions or topics that I wanted to address in this video, so please leave any comments below about any questions that you have for me or anything you want to know about me appropriately. And I'd actually love to make like a Q&A video actually answering the questions y'all want to know, so definitely comment below and let me know, because that just makes it easier for me. I don't have to like come up with what I think y'all want to hear about. And also with my channel too, if there's anything that you want me to talk about or anything you're interested in within the realm of what I do talk about, like let me know, because I'm always open for suggestions. And I like researching things too, so even if it's like relatively close, I'll probably research it and I'll present what I know. But yeah, so this is me. Thank you so much for watching. I highly encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I look forward to making more content in the future. All right, bye for now.